Hello, welcome back to our channel. I'm Rupali Shah, a blockchain developer and your instructor at Newton School. So this is lecture 15. Let me just have correction. Yeah, it's a lecture 15 of Solidity series, and we are gonna develop, or you can say we are gonna call a function from one smart contract, and the function will be the part of another smart contract, and we will be doing the whole series. Like, our whole series is based on the version 0.8.7, so it's the latest version of Solidity, on which we are gonna make the video. So let's get started. Let's move to the remix ID. But before starting, let me introduce you with Newton School. It is an edtech company that helps you to become a full stack developer at zero upfront cost. And this is the best part. Plus, you are getting a guarantee placement from 5 lakhs to 40 lakhs. So, if you want to become a full stack developer and start your journey in web development, then don't forget to check out the link in the description, as we have recently launched our full stack development course. And to get all the details of our courses, do watch the link in the description. It will be very helpful for you guys. So don't forget to visit that link and check out the course details, and you will be also getting much more detail of the course, the pattern we follow, and everything from that link. So don't forget to click on that. Now let's get started. Let's move to Remix ID, and let's start with Hello Solidity. And yeah, let's begin our lecture. 15. So I am in my Solidity like Remix ID. It's a like ID on which you can perform your code, and you can check that whether it is working fine or not. So let's get started. Let's create our first contract. So contract, and this contract will be contract 1. And let's create a function over here, and let's give this function a name like call from second contract. So second contract will be calling this function. Let's just not pass any string, and let's make this external. So in this video we will be also discovering external. It is like public, but external functions can be only called outside the whole contract. And if you are using external keyword, then any other contract or from outside the contract you can call this function, but internally the function won't be able to called. So if you use public, then there is a chance that you have to pay a high gas fees. So to reduce the gas fees amount, we actually use external keywords. So yeah, that's why we are using external this time, and it's a pure function, and it returns a string, or we can just return a number. So let's just return the number, and let's the work of this function is to just return a number. So let's just return 1 2 3. Now let's create another contract, and this contract will be calling the function of the first contract. So let's just have the contract 2 this time. And the second contract will be having two things. One will be the function that will help us to set the address of our first contract, and then we will be having the second function, which will be calling our contract 1 function. So let's first create the instance. Let's have that. Okay, we are having an address of 1. So this variable will be storing the address of our first contract, and here we will be having one function which will be store address, and this will be taking the address. Let's name it A, and let's say that it's a public function, and this function is not returning anything, and its work is just to store A, which we will be bringing into address 1. So after doing this, let's now create the instance of our first contract. So we will be like having one, and let's create an instance. So let's say that this one will be just yeah, let's say this one will be the one. And over here, like when we want to like create this particular address, like this there will be one function, and this function will be call one function, and this will be calling the function of call from two. And this will be not taking any argument, it will be also a public function. And here we will be first creating the address. So let's say that 1 is equals to address, and over here we will be giving the address 1, so that we can create the instance of our first contract. Because if you want to call anything of this particular contract, you first need to create the instance of that particular contract. And after doing this we could, and let's also make this particular function public. Yeah, so after doing this we could be simply return one, and this dot, and this will be calling call from to function. So this was a intro of like how you can call a function of one contract into another contract. So this call from to is a function in our one contract, and to call this particular function, we first need to create the instance of our one contract. So let's just save and let's see if there is any error. So yeah, we actually got an error, and I guess there would be some. Okay, so there is some typo. Let's say that. Let's not create it like this. Let's say it's new. Okay, and now let's just try. So we still have a problem, and it's a contract or edit type accepted, and we are not giving it a contract type. Or okay, so here instead of wrapping it into address, we need to wrap it into the one. And this new, I guess we can just remove it, and different number of arguments in return statement. Okay, yeah, so over here if you want to return, we have seen this in previous video that we need to add some returns keyword, and this will be returning the uint, because uint will be returned by this particular line. Let's just save it, and yeah, we are now good to go. So everything is working, like we got a green signal. Now we can just deploy the contract. So first we will be deploying our one contract. Let's just deploy it, and over here you can call this function, and you can see that it is returning 123. So let's just copy the address of our first contract. Let's move to the second contract and let's just deploy it. And once the second contract is deployed, you can go and store the address of our first contract into a variable which was address 1, and in the second contract we are talking about. So let's just store, and let's see that if the transaction has an error, so invalid address argument. Okay, so this is not taking the address. Let's just copy it again, let's just paste it, and let's have a transaction. So yeah, this time it allowed us to store the address, and you can check it from here. So in the address one we have this particular address 0xd91, which is the address of our contract 1. Now we can just call one function, and this call one function will call this call from to function, which is situated in the contract 1. So let's just call it, and it gave us a successful transaction, but it actually didn't show the value. you can go to this particular like transaction, and over here you could see that we got this decoded output which was 123. So our transaction has been successfully executed, but the value were not able to reflect on our particular dashboard. So that was how you can call one function which is situated in one contract from another contract. So we actually call the function of some contract in another contract. So thank you for watching our video, and don't forget to subscribe the channel and like this video if you understand something new out of it. And we will be coming up with more videos very soon, and these videos will be very interesting also, because now we are ready to develop a D app. We are planning to have a whole application where we will be connecting to MetaMask, where we will be having UI which will be calling the functions of our Solidity contract. Like right now we are using the remix id to call our functions, but in upcoming videos we will be having a UI which will be calling these functions. So it will be very great if you will be subscribing to the channel, because then you will be getting some new opportunities to explore a web3 area, and we are using everything latest, like from Solidity contract to web3 library. Everything will be used of latest version. We will be not using the oldest version on which the videos are already exist on the YouTube. So yeah, it's a great opportunity to start your career with Web3 with these series. And there is one more catch over here. Let's just try this. Let's have a uint demo uint, and let's make it public. Let's make it public. And over here, instead of returning, what we can do is we can store the value. So let's just store the value in demo. So now demo will be equals to the value which this particular function will be returning. So let's just compile. Let's just deploy our second contract. We don't need to deploy our first contract, because we have just made the changes in the second contract. And over here, right now demo is 0. Now you can just copy this particular line, like the address of our first contract, and let's just set the address. After setting, we could just look at that. Okay, we have the address of our first contract in our contract 2, and now just call the function so that this function could call the function of our first contract. And then now let's just see the demo again, and here you can see that we got 1 2. So yeah, it's something that you can use to just verify that okay, the second contract is able to call the first contract or not. So thank you for watching, and have a nice day.